Hey, welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at a new optic that I just picked up. This is something that I bought, wasn't sent to me for review or anything, and that is the Meprolight RDS Pro V2. A little bit of a mouthful there. And there's a reason for that. There was a first version of this, and then this is the second iteration. This has been out for a while. I want to say around 8 years, something like that, um, possibly longer. So essentially, what I was looking for was a lighter weight optic, something to put on my IWI Carmel, and I wanted something lower weight. And this kind of kept popping up, but I have never used a Meprolight. I've never heard too many things about them, to be honest. Most people, when I read online, most people seem to like them. So I was looking at Eotech. I was looking at the usual suspects, and before long, I figured, well, I have an IWI, I have an Israeli gun. I might as well try out an Israeli optic. So this is made in Israel. I wasn't sure. There was maybe some confusion on where it was made. I know they make some products in other countries. However, this one says on the box somewhere, yeah, country of origin is in Israel. So if that matters to you, you know, take that into consideration. So this one does have the 2 MOA bullseye reticle. Um, and it won't show up on camera, so I will say it is not this outer circle here. It is just this inner circle. It's very similar to an Eotech reticle, if you're familiar with that. However, instead of a 1 MOA dot in the middle, it is a 2 MOA dot. I will say I do really like that fine reticle. And I will say that overall, I can't really tell the difference between the 2 MOA dot and the 1 MOA. They're very close. Some people may be able to, and under magnification, you may be able to. I'm personally not a big fan of magnifiers. They work great. I just don't like that extra moving component on my rifles. So I won't give you all of the specs. I'll just go through a couple of them. My biggest concern was with this was, the Eotechs are they're pretty durable in terms of their construction. They have some of their own issues. However, their actual construction, very solid. That was my biggest concern with this. I was able to pick one up, and handle it before purchasing, and I that kind of quelled or dispatched any concerns that this was not a well-made optic. This is a very solid optic. It's all aluminum down here, this lower portion. The only thing that is polymer is the hood up here. Now, a lot of people did not like that. They're used to the aluminum hoods on the Eotechs. However, I will say it is this is not a low grade polymer. There is no flex. I can push on this as hard as I can, and it doesn't move. It doesn't bend. This is a very tough polymer. I also think for drops, things like that, if it ever lands like this, even with a rifle underneath of it, with all that weight, I don't think that this hood is going to break. If for some reason this ever did crack or something like that, of course, it looks like it's just 4 screws. I have not taken it off, but it looks like just 4 screws, pops it off. I know you can get replacements for it. So as far as price range, this is going to be anywhere from the $400 to $500 range. You can find them on sale, sometimes for a little under $400. However, for the most part, it's going to be in that $400 to $500 range. The weight on it, which was one of my big concerns, with a battery, I weighed it myself, and it is about 10.5 ounces, which is what they advertise it being. So it's a tiny bit lighter than the Eotech, which was, in my opinion, this is probably one of its main competitors in terms of what it is. Now, it is not a holographic optic. This is just a standard red dot, although this is the green reticle. It is there's an LED an emitter in there, not it's not a holographic sight. So it's a little bit lighter than Eotech. I would say the weight difference is, you know, it's fairly negligible. Uh, I wouldn't put that in your final consideration. About a half an ounce, half a pound difference, whatever it is. Um, Not half a pound, half an ounce difference. It's not that big. The Eotech is just a little over 11 ounces with a battery. Um, Another drawing point to this was it does take just very standard AA batteries. I also like that it does not have, now the Eotech's pretty similar. You don't you can, if you get it tight, you can put something in there to help get it off. This one, I will say the battery cover is a little easier to get off. It just spins off, and then it's just a single AA battery in there. I have a lithium one in there, but any standard. It shipped with I believe it was an Energizer industrial battery. I don't know what the difference is, but I wanted a lithium in there just because it would not break, or excuse me, it would not leak. And that was my motivation for switching the battery out. Spring in there is nice and tight. The earlier EOTechs, or the 512, I should say, they still make it, of course, had that big long uh, cover out front where the two AA's sat in line with the optic, and they are known, the springs can wear out, and then under recoil your reticle can flicker. This has a very strong spring in it. I don't think it's a huge deal on those Eotechs, but that is something to note with this one if that's a concern for you. So I'll go over real quick the QD, the quick detach. Of course, this Eotech, for example, has the QD lever. It's pretty integrated, which I really like. And it has a little toggle switch you have to do in order to engage it. I like it quite a bit. It's a pretty good design, in my opinion. Has a pretty nice lockup on it. This one, it's not quite as good in my opinion. It has two clamps on it. So this would be the in position, tighten down. When you loosen it, you flip these up, and then you have to put it in on an angle. However, I will say it was already kind of pre um, tightened down to a pick rail, a standard 1913 pick rail. So I literally just took it out of the case, popped it off the pick rail mount out of the box, put it on my Carmel, and just quick flipped it on. It was very tight lockup, but it was very secure on there. I didn't have to mess with it. It looks like they already put some Loctite in from the factory, which is good to see. So I didn't have to mess with any of that. Um, in terms of the operation, things like that, Eotech, of course, most of them have the buttons on the side. I like that. I think that's a good idea. You can operate it with gloves, anything like that. I don't mind the switch on this Meprolight. Um, so, of course, this is off, and then it goes right to the brightest setting. I actually do like that it goes right to the bright setting. As you can see there, it's extremely bright, dim. You're not going to be able to see the reticle. My apologies for that. I don't think the camera is going to focus in on that. So, and then of course it goes down to 3, and then 4 is night vision mode. So you might be able to see that reticle very faint right there. I do like this reticle. I like the bullseye reticle. It's a 55 MOA outer ring on there, and I do think that is it's a little smaller than the Eotech reticle. However, it's not that noticeable in terms of you know pickup, things like that. I don't think most people are going to have an issue with that. So I do like the uh, the controls on this. It does have a unique adjustment where when you click it, you down into position, you can push in. It's a very stiff button, which is probably good. So I have found when it's on the rifle, you just reach around and you click it, and it's just some fine adjustments for that reticle. Now, there are a couple complaints I have with this. They're not deal breakers. Overall, I do like this optic. The biggest one, and I noticed this pretty quickly, and I did read about this, is that you get this very large viewing window. It is a little larger than the Eotech. I want to say it's like 3 millimeters, something like that. But it is very nice. The large window is nice, so it's easy to keep both eyes open. All of that. The disadvantage is you don't get to use that whole window with the reticle. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I will click this down. Okay, so you can see the reticle right now. So up top, you can see it kind of disappears at the top. Not bad. Down low, it goes right down to the bottom. Okay, that's great. And then you can see it disappear. There is a very definite circle inside of this optic, and anything outside of that, that reticle disappears. And it's the same on the other side. I don't know if there's really anything they can do about that. It's just kind of mostly in the corners. However, it is a little it's a little annoying to me that it doesn't, you don't get to use the whole window. It's not a deal breaker, but it is something to work something worth noting, that you do not get the whole uh, you know big window size. So um, keep that in mind if you are looking at one of these, is that you do get that nice big window. You do not get to use the whole thing. So that's a little unfortunate, but it's not a deal breaker. So battery life is very good compared to an Eotech. Most holographic sites, of course, are going to be lower. They're going to be anywhere from, on the low end, I want to say Eotechs are 600 hours, and up on the high end, some of the models are around 1500 hours. This being a red dot, I thought that this would have a very long battery life, something like an Eotech, where it's 30, 40,000 hours or something crazy. You can basically leave it on for years on end. Um, Not quite. It's about 3,000 hours. Is that a deal breaker? Not really. It's such a common battery. It's so easy to change that I don't think that that's an issue for most people. Certainly not for me. However, if you do want to keep this on, it does have a go to sleep option. It will if you don't move it. However, it sounds like it's very sensitive. So for me personally, I'm just going to be flipping this thing on and off. It's not a big deal to do that. It's very quick and easy. Um, and to me, that's not a huge concern. I always have backup iron sights on my rifles, pistol configurations, whatever. So for me, battery life isn't as big of a concern. If the battery dies and you don't have a spare battery or you're not able to change it, you can just flip up your iron sights however you want to do that, and those are good to go. So overall, I think that the biggest competitors are going to be your duty grade optics, like the Eotechs, the aim points, things like that. And this is duty grade. This is battle proven. The IDF has been using these for quite a while. You can see them all over the news right now. So these are battle proven optics. These are certified military grade, whatever you want to call it. These are good to go. You can beat these up and they will handle it. I think for in that realm of optic, for the money, it's a very good optic. I would definitely recommend it for that. The Eotech is a little more expensive. I will say I do prefer the reticle a little more. I like the holographic just a little bit more. The Eotech does have some little issues, which I won't go into. This is not an Eotech video, but you can see the delamination on the window there, things like that. These don't seem to be having those issues. Time will tell if anything pops up. However, I know Meprolight is pretty good about taking care of customers if they have issues and whatnot. It does not have a lifetime warranty though, so just keep that in mind. It's not like a Vortec or anything like that. It does have a limited warranty. So Overall, would I recommend it? Absolutely. I think if you're looking for duty grade optics, this is a good choice. And you know, I would say look at both of them if you're able to before you make a decision. But especially if budget's a concern, save yourself a couple $100 and go with a Meprolight. Or if you're just looking for something different, or maybe you don't want a holographic, I think that this is a very good durable option. I think if you're not worried about duty grade or anything like that, I think there probably are some lighter weight, some more appealing optics. But for me, I wanted some duty grade. I wanted something I know that will just last a long time and can take beating. And that's how I ended up with this one. So that is all. I will once I use this more. I have not shot this or used this on my rifle yet, so this is just kind of a first impressions video. So I will let you know what I think about it when I use it more.